You can hear it. It's not able to move those blades. Take the bar and make sure all the twigs are out, if there aren't any twigs, and just bend it back and forth until you break them off so that it's free and clear. And then just take it and tap one side of the bar. Mine, it's usually always the right side. That usually helps free things up in the gearbox and get it all cleared so that you can then run it once again. In this, let's get going. So I've taken off this screw and the one on the opposing side, and now we're going to take this off. Just have to muscle it out of place a little bit. That comes off. Now we're going to remove the screws from this part of the body. Here are the screws that I mentioned a minute ago, having removed from this guard. So that just pulls off out of place. And we're almost all loosened up on these. There we go. So pull that off, set that aside. That's still a little bit warm. So here's what we're going to do. Pull this out, and I'm going to be a little bit extra careful since that's nice and warm. Okay, when you remove these, you're going to have a little bushing with each of them. That's a very important part to keeping it all separated and able to move. So hold on to that. And there's a nut on the other side. Okay, and that'll fall off the other side. Fine. You may be wondering why these 4 screws don't match. That's what happens when your 2-year-old helps you do a repair. There's sometimes screws go missing. Good news is that that screw has since been recovered and is right here. So we'll hold on to that for later and discard that one. Okay. So this is the inside. And what we're going to do is just pop this out. So we removed those, and that's going to allow us to pull this out, hopefully. The gears are interlocked pretty well because it's been trying to turn unsuccessfully. Side to side to try and get it loose in. There we go. So here's the issue. You can see that black, what looks like a washer in there, and it's come out of, there's a little inset slot that it goes into, and it's come up here and binded, and so consequently this gear can't turn. So what worked for me last time is just to force turn this using this adjustable wrench, and the channel locks. So put the adjustable wrench down in between those gear holes, attach this, and then you're gonna, there we go, and you'll feel it fall into place, and as soon as it falls into place, it'll spin much more freely. So you should be able to just turn this with your fingers nice and easily. So the good news is that you're able to fix this. The bad news is that by virtue of that having jammed up in there in the first place, everything is a bit loose by comparison to what it once was, and so the likelihood of that recurring is somewhat good, as I experienced. So to avoid that, I think the best advice would be to try and not trim really heavy or thick branches with this, and just trim the stuff that you need to, that's new growth, and be happy with that. Okay, so let's get this put back together now. Let's just put on that shaft. And you got to work at it just a little bit because those two gear cogs have to line up. So we're just getting these to line up a little bit. Push back into place if you can. I want to go for some reason. Let's see what's going on. Get the washer. Looks good. There we go. We're going to button it back up now. The screws that I have now located. Okay, good, nice and tight. Now we're going to put these screws back in. Make sure you've got that all-important bushing, and those should just slide through. That, and the other one with the bushing slides through. Now this bar, I think it is symmetric. It appears to be. So it shouldn't provide an issue regardless of which direction it goes. And so as you may recall, there's the bar, which is threaded, and then on the other side of the bar there are little nylons, these little nylon lock nuts. You're going to put one of those on the other side and get it somewhat tightened up. And then what I would recommend is loosening this until that nylock, you can see, is right up against that metal bar. And then you're going to grab and you should be aware of this electrical connector, not to damage that. Alright, what we want to do is route these electrical lines properly. So put that white one in last, put the black, there's kind of a little plastic slot here. I'm going to put the black and the red up the top, and then white down at that lower slot. You can see it's Just make sure you can see those. There you are. And then black and red. Okay. I'm going to button this up. Okay, make sure this stays in here. And you can see how that swivel works. It's not able to swivel a whole 360 degrees, and so they just have wires coming out of there and they allow it to turn. It's really a nice feature of this edge trimmer, in my opinion. Okay, we will put this back on. That. Now using your 3mm. Just so that you have access to these screws that I'm tightening right now. Otherwise, the black handle interferes with your ability to access these. Okay, so now we have 4 fasteners left. We have this handle, and I guess this goes this way. Let's see. Yep, looks good. And you have to kind of muscle this one on there. Probably easier if you had 2 people for this particular part, but there you go. Last piece, that into place. These tiny little guys. That's it. All right, let's give it a try. See if it works. Back in business.